The legendary sanctuary of eternity begins to shudder as the laws of physics itself start to unravel before the eyes of the pilots. Above the floating crystal gardens, the sky tears open like parchment, revealing a swirling vortex of violet lightning and absolute void. The energy readings spike beyond any known scale, signaling that the barrier between dimensions has finally been breached by something ancient and hungry.
The energy readings are fluctuating wildly, reaching levels that should be impossible in our physical realm. This isn't just a rift, it is an intrusion from the primordial void that existed before the stars were even born. Every ship in the vicinity is experiencing total sensor failure because the power of this entity is simply too vast to calculate with our technology.
From the center of the violet rift, a hand made of solid darkness slowly emerges, its size dwarfing the capital ships of the human fleet. Then, the full form of Nihilus descends, a cosmic giant of impossible proportions, covered in hundreds of blinking red eyes. The weight of his presence alone causes the surrounding asteroids to crumble into dust, and his voice vibrates through the souls of everyone present.
At last, the relics have gathered in one place, creating the key that has finally unlocked my eternal prison. You tiny sparks of life have spent eons fighting over fragments of power you cannot hope to understand or control. Now that I am free, the mistake of existence will be corrected, and all of creation will return to the peaceful silence of the void.
Look at the size of that thing. It makes even the Klaxosaur star entity look like a child's toy in comparison. We fought VIRM and we fought the Eclipse, but this feels like we're standing before a god who wants to erase the very concept of us. Ira, stay with me, because if we lose our focus for even a second, we'll be swallowed by that darkness.
Threat level confirmed, absolute oblivion. Initiating the Sanctuary Protocol to protect the Heart of Eternity at all costs. Every defensive system must be synchronized, and all internal limiters are hereby overridden to maximize energy output. The mission is clear. The entity Nihilus must not be allowed to touch the core of this world.
My followers, lower your weapons and cease your fire against the humans for this moment. I have spent my long life fearing the day Nihilus would return to claim the universe he helped build, and then grew to hate. If he awakens completely, there will be no kingdom left to rule, and the Eclipse Fleet will be nothing more than ashes in the wind.
I can't believe my eyes. The Eclipse King is actually ordering a retreat from the front line of our battle. He knows exactly what that thing is, and the look on his face tells me that he's seen the end of the world before. This isn't just about winning a war anymore. This is about an unlikely alliance between enemies who have no other choice but to stand together. Eclipse King, you who were once our most bitter enemy, do you truly have the courage to stand with the defenders of the light? The darkness coming from that rift will consume your shadows just as easily as it will our stars. If we are to survive this day, we must combine the relics and the fleets into a single, unbreakable shield of existence.
Watch as your hope is extinguished by a mere flick of my finger, for you are nothing but dust against the storm. This celestial body you call a moon is nothing more than a pebble in my path, and it shall be the first to vanish. Behold the power of the void as it claims the light that you so desperately cling to in your ignorance.
With a terrifying lack of effort, Nihilus releases the dark sphere, which streaks across the vacuum of space like a silent arrow. It strikes the distant moon, and instead of an explosion, the satellite simply begins to unravel, its matter turning into a fine gray mist. Within seconds, the entire celestial body is gone, leaving only an empty space where a world once existed.
He erased a moon like it was nothing more than a drawing on a chalkboard. That wasn't an attack. It was a demonstration of how little we matter to him. Eira, we have to charge now, before he decides to do the same thing to the Earth or the Sanctuary.
Operation Final Dawn is now active. All units are commanded to engage the target with maximum lethality. We will lead the charge to draw his fire, while the smaller units aim for the cracks in his shadow armor. Do not fear the end, for we are the shield that stands between the living and the eternal night.
For every pilot who fell in the ancient wars, and for the future we promise to protect, we ride. Aegis, give me everything you've got, and show this monster that the human spirit is not something he can just erase. We are the legacy of Dr. FRANXX, and we will not go quietly into his void.
The combined fleet of Earth and the Eclipse rush forward in a breathtaking display of unity, their engines lighting up the dark like 1,000 suns. Thousands of cannons fire simultaneously, creating a web of blue, crimson, and white lasers that strike the chest of the shadow giant. The vacuum of space is filled with the roar of engines and the silent flashes of 1,000,000 shells exploding against the dark matter.
It's impossible. Our sensors are showing that the direct hits from the capital ships are doing absolutely zero damage. The energy of our beams is simply being absorbed into his skin, as if we were feeding him more power. We need to find a weakness, a core, or something that exists in our physical reality, or this battle is already over.
Your weapons are as primitive as the lives you lead, and they taste like nothing but fleeting, desperate dreams. I am the end of all things, and I have consumed entire galaxies more vibrant than this tiny corner of the stars. Allow me to show you what true power looks like when it is released without the burden of mercy.
Nihilus slowly exhales a wave of negative energy that ripples through the fleet, causing advanced warships to go dark instantly. Engines die, life support systems fail, and the brave soldiers within are left drifting in the cold, dark silence. It is not destruction, but a total theft of energy, as if Nihilus has drained the very soul out of the machines.
Diverting internal auxiliary power to the Infinity Breaker blade, I will strike the killing blow myself. My armor can withstand the void for precisely 60 seconds before total structural collapse occurs. Ren, Eira, wait for the opening I create, and strike the heart of eternity into his chest with everything you have.
Genesis Prime is taking the full brunt of his power to give us just one chance to land a hit. We can't let its sacrifice be in vain. Eira, synchronize your heart rate with mine, and let's push the resonance to the limit. We are not just pilots anymore. We are the hope of every living soul left in this galaxy.
The legendary Genesis Prime strikes Nihilus with its Infinity Breaker blade, and for the first time, a visible crack appears on the giant's armor. A burst of violet light erupts from the wound, and the cosmic entity actually flinches, his many eyes narrowing in sudden, sharp pain. The blow was successful, but the cost was high, as Genesis Prime is thrown back by a massive kinetic shockwave.
A scratch, a tiny, insignificant wound delivered by a machine that thinks it is a god. You have piqued my interest, little creations, but you have also sealed your fate by daring to draw my blood. I shall tear the stars from the sky and use them to bury your hopes in a grave of eternal darkness.
He's healing. The crack that Genesis Prime worked so hard to create is already closing up. We need more power than just the 3 relics we have. We need the 4th relic to complete the resonance. Kale, we need to merge the energies of our FRANXX units if we're going to stand any chance against his counterattack.
Everyone, follow our lead and give us your energy. Let the bonds between us become the weapon that breaks the void. Genesis, activate the triple resonance and the celestial drive at the same time, no matter what it does to our bodies. This is our final stand, and we will burn as bright as a supernova to win.
Genesis, Aegis, the Final Guardian, and the Eclipse King's flagship all strike at the same time in a coordinated four-way assault. The sheer force of their combined power pushes the massive form of Nihilus backward, moving the mountain-sized entity through space. For a brief moment, the Shadow Army seems to falter, as their master is forced to defend himself from the relentless light.
The last generation was weak, but you have found a spark that I thought had been extinguished forever. However, a spark is not enough to stop the inevitable night that follows the setting of the sun. Rise, my children of the abyss, and show these mortals the true meaning of hopelessness.
Suddenly, thousands of shadow creatures, some shaped like dragons and others like jagged humanoids, pour out of the dimensional rift. They are the army of oblivion, an endless tide of darkness that begins to swarm the Allied fleet, tearing through metal like it was paper. The battlefield turns into a chaotic nightmare of shadow and flame as the pilots fight for their very survival.
There are too many of them, and they're coming from every direction at once. Era, don't look at the numbers, just focus on the path ahead and keep the blade moving. We have to reach the center of that rift, or this army will never stop coming until every one of us is dead.
I will not let this world fall after waiting thousands of years to see the sky again. Seraph systems are at maximum capacity, and I will carve a path through these monsters for Ren and Ira. Kale, stay on my wing, and let's show them the power of the partners who started it all.
Accepting emergency authorization for Origin mode. All secondary systems are being sacrificed to maintain the golden halo. My physical form will now become a conduit for the primordial light that originally birthed this universe. Ren, Ira, the transformation is beginning. You must be ready to receive the true power of Genesis.
I can see it. The true form of Genesis Prime is finally manifesting, and it's beautiful. This is the machine that Dr. FRANXX designed in his most secret notes. A weapon intended not for war, but for the preservation of reality itself. If they can synchronize now, they might actually be able to seal the rift forever.
Enough of this tiresome struggle. It is time to open the Eye of Oblivion and end this charade of resistance. When this eye looks upon you, your history, your names, and your very souls will be erased from the record of time. You will not die. You will simply have never existed at all.
A beam of dark violet energy erupts from the eye in Nihilus's chest, sweeping across the battlefield like a scythe through wheat. Ships don't explode when the beam hits them. They simply vanish, leaving no wreckage and no memory behind. The terror in the fleet is absolute, as they realize they are facing a weapon that can erase the very fact of their lives.
He's erasing them. They're just gone. I can't even remember the names of the pilots who were just standing right next to us. We have to stop that beam, or there won't be a world left to save, and no one will even know we were ever here.
I will act as the final shield. My existence is a small price to pay for the survival of the future. Diverting all power to the frontal barrier. Please, Ren and Ira, do not look back and do not stop. You are the only ones who can reach the heart of the void and turn it back into light.
What is this place? The battlefield is gone, and I can hear voices. They sound like they're coming from inside the machine itself. Ira, do you see that figure standing in the light? It feels familiar, like a memory of a home I've never been to, but have always missed.
Inside the heart of Genesis, time stands still as Ren and Ira meet the collective will of every guardian who ever lived. The spirits of the past,
including the memory of Hiro and Zero Two, surround them with a warmth that defies the cold of space. Here, the two halves of the fourth relic finally begin to merge, signifying the true unity of the human and Klaxosaur spirits.
I have been a fool, following a king who sought only power while the world burned around him. If I am to die this day, I will die defending the very thing I tried to destroy. Lyra, forgive me, and watch as I take this monster's attention away from the core. Outside, the Genesis unit begins to undergo a final, magnificent evolution, fueled by the merged fourth relic and the spirits of the past. Its armor turns into a crystalline substance that reflects the light of 1,000 stars, and 6 wings of pure energy unfold from its back. This is Genesis Infinity, the ultimate form of the machine, a beacon of hope in the middle of the darkest night.
I can feel everything now. The loneliness of Nihilus, the fear of the fleet, and the hope of every child on Earth. This isn't just a machine we're piloting. It's the heartbeat of the entire universe, and it's telling us to fight. Era, let's show him that we are not afraid of his void anymore.
So, you have finally found the strength to look into the heart of the world and survive the experience. But even with that power, you are still bound by the laws of your tiny, fragile lives. Let us see if your hope can withstand the true face of the one who birthed the darkness you fear so much.
Nihilus sheds his outer skin, revealing his true form as a cosmic entity of living galaxies, a terrifyingly beautiful sight that defies logic. He is no longer just a shadow. He is a god of entropy, and every movement he makes ripples the fabric of space-time. The final battle has moved beyond physical weapons and into the realm of pure existence. My time has come to pass the torch to the next generation. The origin core is now yours to command. Take my life force and use it to ignite the infinite nova, for it is the only light that can pierce his heart. Farewell, Ren and Ira. The future is a beautiful thing, and I am glad I could help protect it.
We're receiving the origin core. It's like a son is being born inside our own hearts. We can't let this end with more destruction. We have to reach him, not to kill him, but to change him. Ira, lend me your strength for one last strike. The infinite nova.
Genesis Infinity unleashes the infinite nova, a beam of light so intense that it illuminates the farthest corners of the galaxy. The beam strikes Nihilus directly in his heart of oblivion, but instead of an explosion, a strange silence falls over the universe. Ren and Ira enter the final memory of the first being, seeing the billions of years of loneliness that drove him to madness. He wasn't born evil. He was just the first one here, and he watched everything he loved turn into dust and hate. We don't have to destroy him, Ren. We just have to show him that he doesn't have to be alone in the dark anymore. We can give him the warmth that he's been searching for since the beginning of time.
Nihilus, look at us. We are the proof that even after millions of years of war, we can still choose to love and protect each other. You don't have to erase the world just because you're tired of the pain. You can join us and see the beauty of the life you helped create.
The darkness within the heart of oblivion begins to turn into a brilliant, pure white light as Nihilus finally closes his eyes and accepts the gesture. His massive cosmic form begins to dissolve into billions of tiny stars that scatter across the universe, seeding new life and new worlds. The war for existence has ended, not with a bang, but with a peaceful, silent dawn.
The energy readings have stabilized, the rift is closing, and the signatures of the Shadow Army have completely vanished. We've done it. We've actually survived the end of the world, and the universe looks more vibrant than it ever has before. It's a new era for all of us, humans and Klaxosaurs alike.
The stars look so peaceful now, like they're all smiling down on us for the first time in our lives. We still have a long way to go to rebuild everything we lost, but as long as we're together, I know we can do it. Let's go home, Era. Back to the world that we finally earned the right to live in.
So friends, that's all for today. I will bring the next episode very soon. Please subscribe to this channel and leave a comment. Bye-bye, my dear subscribers.